But what motivates me is that I know no matter what happens to the economy, this business is recession proof. You can create your own movie here. So if you treat this like a full time, you'll get a full time check and a real good one. When you work for somebody else, your efforts are making somebody else rich.
Coming to you with another episode of the Insurance Man Podcast Don't Shoot. We got Mr. Carlos Perez. How you doing today?
Good, thank you.
Excellent, man. So let's go ahead and dive in. Let's talk a little bit about your background, where you come from, and how you got in the business.
I was in real estate back in the 90s, and when the economy crashed, that's when Lincoln Heritage came up to me, and I've been in Lincoln since 2007.
2007. Okay. And how did you find Lincoln? How did you guys connect?
There was another real estate agent that joined before me, and he told me, hey, nothing's going on. And I found this because we both were licensed already with life. And he joined before me. He told me it was very great. He was doing good for him. And I joined, and the rest is just story.
Perfect. Is that agent still in the business?
He made so much money that he started investing in other stuff, and he bought his own agency with another insurance company, like one of those that do all kinds of insurance.
Okay. And you were working with your manager was Ariel when you
Correct.
came?
Correct.
Perfect. Now, whenever you started out, what did that process look like from contracting to training to getting out in the field?
It was great because it was one-on-one, face-to-face. Nothing like on the phone or videos. It was face-to-face in the field, actually, right at the households, dining table. So that was great.
Prior to that, how long were you in the real estate business? I come from a real estate background too.
Probably like 10, 11 years, and it was booming. I was doing great, like real good numbers. So when the economy crashed, it was hard for me to get used to it from seeing those $20,000, $30,000 checks. And then I came here, of course, you get more checks here, but they're smaller. So I was trying to figure it out. But it was fun. It was easier, way easier, less stress. And it was almost guaranteed that every week I was going to get a check. I wasn't just wasting my time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I definitely know from the mortgage business, sometimes you'll spend 30 days or 60 days and not get paid anything. What happens?
Oh, yeah. Drive all over the state, not the cities, but the state. And all of a sudden, you know what? I think we're going to wait for next year. And what do you do?
For those that don't know, what market are you working in? Tell us where you're located.
LA County, but I'm a little bit above like where Magic Mountain area is at, but I go everywhere.
When we first started or when we first opened up the LA market, everybody told me it was impossible to write a lot of production because of the traffic. How do you deal with that?
Every day is different, so you just have to play smart. The client will tell you when to be there, the time, so you can't really organize yourself. If they say at that time, you need to be at that time, but I try to beat traffic.
Okay.
So basically, when you don't start that early here in this business. People are sleeping 6, 7 in the morning. So when traffic's done, that's when you head out, start seeing people, and I don't get back home till traffic's done. Okay. So I really avoid that. Now parking, I mean, you take a little brisk walk, why not? You park 3 blocks away, I get my inserts, I'm away to the client, I do some cold door knocking with the insert, I'm away back. I do a little bit more cold door knocking on the other way. So there's always positive things about this. You got to figure it out. This is your own business. Nobody tells you how to do it. You got to try anything, everything, as long as it's legal.
So when you first started out, how was that adjustment? Because again, coming from the mortgage industry, I know from really big checks per deal to a lot smaller checks, but a lot more volume. How were you able to make that adjustment?
It was hard because I knew how much money I needed to survive, but I had to do a big adjustment because I was going through a lot. I lost my home, I lost the cars and everything because I was banking 50 to 60 a month. Back then, the business was good. From doing all that, I went to zero in real estate. So when I started making money here, I didn't know how much money was I going to make. Like I asked Ariel, hey, how much money do you think I've been making? He said, it's all up on you. I can't really give you a number. Guys, the limits. And that gave me an idea. Okay, it's all up to me. It's my own business. So I started hitting it hard, driving 2 hours away. And it was fun. And it probably took me about a year to figure out how much money I really was going to be making average. And that's when I started figuring out what kind of household I was going to live in and what kind of cars and everything. It was hard to adjust to this type of business, but I don't regret it at all because after losing so much, I could even say became almost homeless. I became a homeowner again.
That's awesome.
And first of all, thank God, but he used Lincoln to get back up there, living the good life again. I don't regret it at all. I'm actually right now as well. There's a little bit of stuff back there, a little bit of trophies. I try to save them to the end, but my office is empty because I'm packing because I just sold my house and I'm upgrading again. So I'm going the next level, going to the
Let's
next level.
go. Let's go. I love hearing that. That's phenomenal, man. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
I know that the manager he was working for at one point, there was a disagreement or something, and then Ariel, they end up parting ways. Did you leave Lincoln as well?
Yeah, I left with him, and we're
Okay.
buddies.
Yeah.
So we left with him, and we did not like the system of the other company. We
Yeah.
both were regretting it, but we really didn't leave because we were not happy with Lincoln. It was just something that happened with management. I don't know if you know the story. So we went somewhere else, not that we wanted to, and we were regretting it. And that's when you came in the picture and you offered him to come back under you. And I told him, hey, no doubt, let's go back.
Yeah, the first time I met Ariel, I qualified. It was my first trip. I can't remember. I was maybe in, I don't know, about a year or so, something like that. And at the time, I remember I was the same thing. Came from the mortgage business. I lost two houses, lost cars.
Yeah.
Me and my wife, we were able to, fortunately, because I had a lender that was willing to work with me. They lowered our house payment, I think, at the time, from 3,500 down to 1,500 on one of the houses that we owned. And so, luckily, we were able to make enough to keep that. But at the time, I mean, we were down to one car, so my wife was having to sit at home with the kids, no car, no cell phone, and it was tough. But whenever I qualified for my first trip, Lincoln called me and they said, "Hey, you're number one pro rata." And so what comes with that is either $500 bonus if you when you go on the trip, or we can just throw you in with everybody and you get 1,500, but you're not going to get the recognition. And I was like, "Give me the 1,500, right? Like, not
Right.
worried about the recognition." And one of the first people that I met, like literally when we went on the trip, was Ariel. I hadn't met him up until that point, and he sat down and he was ordering wings and food and drinks, and that's how we had a couple of beers and just chatted it up and really hit it off from that point. He was working with a different manager at the time, but really from that moment on, friends. And he's someone that I would talk to in the business, and I looked at his numbers as well from what he was doing,
Yeah.
and inspired me to want to continue to grow. And so I had the opportunity to be able to work with them was fantastic. I can't remember specifically, when did you guys come back? Do you remember what year it was?
It's hard to say because I was taken out a second time, and it was because it might sound negative, but it also became a positive thing because what happened, I have a little story too,
Yeah.
where, like I said, I recovered everything. Thank God. What you're telling me, I know that story. When you're collecting those little quarters and trying to go buy the meal for that day, and hopefully you sell that day so you can pay the electric bill. Oh, I've been there.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing that it happened because I could appreciate Lincoln and never complain about what's going on out there. Every day is different.
Yeah.
There's always good things and sometimes struggles. But anyways, I was making so much money that I started buying like franchises and franchisees and then building businesses. And you know how this is. You lose focus, the production will change. And
Yeah.
you're like, it's just an hour a day, it's fine. It doesn't work the same. You lose focus. My production went down for a bit, and they was like, "Hey, what's going on? Your production's down." I told them, "Yeah, I'm a little bit distracted, but give me 1 month and I'll be back." 1 month went by, second month, and the other business was consuming me. But it was just an investment that I knew I was not gonna leave Lincoln. But unfortunately, I was still, I guess, too young or dumb. So I lost focus, and I did get out of Golden Memorial because of my production. I
Mhm.
regret it, but it was a good thing because I was hopping around so much and I discovered that there's no other place like Lincoln. It's not only the system, but the product. And as soon as you step into the door and you say, hey, Lincoln Heritage, for example, burial insurance plan or Lincoln Heritage Funeral Advantage. Oh, yeah, I've heard of them. But when you go with another company, they just look at you like, who or
Yeah.
what? Or sometimes just bad reputation from other companies, even though they're famous or big. So I learned that. I got a lot of experience going to seminars that I use here now. But my story to there is that during COVID, I was at some company that I was only doing phone calls. It's very stressful. It's not the same thing, even though I wasn't paying for the leads, but it was a big company that they do all kinds of insurance because I have all the licenses. I was doing commercial, etc. But then I was doing great. Don't take me wrong, I was doing good, but I didn't feel good being in an office, just same people. I don't know. I'm just used to the sun, the air, the wind, the freedom.
Yeah.
So I was doing good, but then one day I stepped out. I didn't. I would work from home too sometimes. I stepped out. I didn't say nothing to the agency owner, and the guy thought I was playing around. I didn't make really phone calls that day because I didn't know he was monitoring me, everything from home, and he just got disrespectful. I got angry, and this was during COVID when everything was closed, and I still had a job. So I drove up to the office. I took his computer. I took the phone and everything. I'm like, you know what? I quit. You're very disrespectful. You know, I've never been treated this way. And I was hurt. And I go back home and I was thinking, what am I going to do now? It's COVID time. Where am I
Yeah.
going to work at? So I was losing sleep over that, making a whole bunch of phone calls, and everybody was in a worse situation than me. So I'm like, what am I going to do? But I don't regret it. The guy's very disrespectful. I've never been
Yeah.
treated this way. And I don't know, just like the first time I got saved from back then, what happened with real estate by Lincoln, guess what? I get a weird email from you out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. Hey, Carlos, I see you here. And I can't remember what the email said, but where are you? What's going on? What are you doing? I'm like, man, I look up in the sky, like, God, you really love me. You're saving me again, right? Because I was jobless.
Yeah.
So during the pandemic. So you said, hey, you know what? Reach out to, your manager again and hop aboard. We want you back. I feel so welcome. I forgot about all that pain and worries, of course. I'm like, I'm back in business. So I called the manager, and that's when I spoke to Jorge too. And that's one thing that I didn't want to do was cold door knocking.
Yeah.
No lead at all. But I say, you know what? I gotta give it a try. So I went out with Jorge. Amazing. I just saw how getting free leads is great. Who doesn't like free?
Yeah.
You get to interact with people better. You create your lead your own way. Yeah,
Mhm.
the weather can hit you sometimes, but it was fun. I learned so much, and I appreciate that from Jorge. And I'm booming because of that. The colder knocking. So I don't care if I only get one lead per week. I'm booming out there. I'm colder knocking, getting referrals, and I'm not scared of the door anymore because this guy showed me that we're just putting the obstacles is all on our head. No matter what their face looks like, what the house looks like, we can create our own leads, our own way because of our personality, who we are, and what we want to do. So I'm back here in business, just booming. Once again, got saved by Lincoln for the second time. And I don't know, like I mentioned you earlier, I'm upgrading home now as we speak.
That's phenomenal, man. I had Lincoln pull some of your numbers here, like your lifetime production of the time that you've been with Lincoln. 1,166,336. So you're in the $1 million club in production, which is absolutely phenomenal. And your conversion rate, right? Like I pulled up the apps to what you've written, just looking at the last 12 months, and you have a 75% conversion on leads, which is just, it's absolutely phenomenal. And I'm sure, that number is reflective of you mixing in cold door knocking as well.
Correct.
Walk me through when you went out with Jorge.
It's funny because the guy's very serious, even though he's fun, and but he when he's in business, he's very serious. So he make me nervous, but he just made everything as a joke. Because I remember when I did my first door knocking and I knocked the door and I was hoping they never opened the door because I was afraid. You're going to feel the same way. So let me do it and then you do it. So when I knocked the door, he was correcting me. It took him about a week to correct me everything that I was doing wrong. One thing was that if the person at the door was saying, I'm busy, I got to go, I went along with it and started raising my speed of my voice or the tone or getting nervous like they were or like in a hurry. I started speaking like in a hurry and he said, no, you keep your same level. Speak to them as you have control. So the first thing was control at the door. Once you get that control, ooh, nothing can stop you. It feels good to be in control. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Especially when you get something out of it. So Jorge just basically showed me all the kind of personalities, all the kind of rejections, because this is the no business, like you say, and you learn from them. You can convert a no into a yes, or you can just turn a no into a training session. Especially when we made our first sale, we walked out of there and I said, nothing's going to stop me. Of course, I went on my own later on, but I had to go back with him again because I run into situations that I didn't know what to do because I didn't run into the situation with him. Like, for
Mhm.
example, I already have this other company. I don't need nothing. Hey, congratulations, right? Let me review your policy. Don't worry about it. Let me check it out. And they didn't know that it was going to expire or cancel on them. Everybody thinks that all these other even if they're not term, those IOLs, ULs, you name it, they will expire one day. So I was reading over their policies and say, hey, this is going to cancel one day. Here it is. Let me show you. They were upset. Some would cry, like, why? 10 years throwing my money away. I didn't know. How about your plans? How do they look? Hey, we pull out our own policies and look, this is permanent whole life. I didn't know it exists. So you just never have to stop talking until they close the door at you or just tell you bye or come back. So I learned a lot from Jorge. It's just a lot to say. And cold door knocking was a wonderful experience for me. I feel there's no limits.
What do you say at the door whenever you go knock on a cold door?
You greet them, of course. You have 10 seconds, that's what I learned, to let them know why you're there and with who, what for. Hi, I'm here, apology, I'm here in the neighborhood with your neighbor and I'm with Funeral Advantage. And you hand out the insert to entertain them a little bit instead of shaking the hand, because I started in COVID doing that.
Huh.
So since then, I just give out the insert, let them get entertained. So by the time you try to figure out the insert, they're listening to you and something will catch them. So they'll say yes or no immediately. Like, I'm Carlos with Funeral Advantage. This is a plan that will cover all your expenses when that time comes that nobody wants it to arrive. But are you prepared? And then that's when they say no or yes. And even though they say yes, you tell them, hey, congratulations. That means you love your family. So if you don't mind me asking, what do you have? You have a plot? You have an insurance plan? What do you have? So you just continue. And if they say no, then you ask them, you think it's important for you to receive this information? Yeah, but right now I'm busy. No, it's not now. I would have to talk to either your husband or your wife, regardless who's in the door. Or maybe your kids, if the person's an elderly, very elderly person. Maybe your kids need to be here and listen to this, because I don't just talk to them at the door. I want an appointment with the person that is responsible for them or that needs to make a decision too, because then I'm going to make a presentation and nothing's going to happen. 90% of the time, it's an appointment I get, and
Okay.
10% I go in there and make the sale on the spot. It's very hard to do it on the spot because you need both of them there or whoever else in charge.
And so 90% of the time you're booking an appointment, are you trying to book it within a day or two or a couple of days or just depending on the person's schedule, or how do you do that?
The sooner the better. Sometimes I tell them, I'm going to be here the whole day. Can I come back later on? What time they come? I don't go home till 10, I tell them. So they try to give that excuse like, hey, my husband comes back home late. What's late? 7. Oh, no, that's when my day starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's true. We work when nobody else works, Saturdays, Sundays, or evenings, if
Yeah.
that's what it takes. So I set up the appointments, and if they say, oh, no, it'll be till next week. So I do have the business card, the magnet that sticks to the refrigerator. So I write down the appointment there, make sure they're looking at every day, and remember, not tell them if anything happens, call me, but I will be here. Oh, can you call me to confirm? I don't promise you or guarantee you I'm gonna call you because I'm so busy hopping from one appointment to the next one. I will not call you. I will show up. Why? Because you touch the phone and they'll cancel on you.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
just show up.
What would you say your no-show rate is on appointments?
I will say if I get 5 appointments, 2 maybe are no
Two.
shows.
And then how do you handle those ones that no-show you? Will you continue to go back?
Yeah, I go back. I don't call, not at all. I don't even ask for the phone number. Put it that way. Unless it's a building I can't get in, I ask for the phone number. But I usually just wait for somebody to come in or come out of the building. So what happens, I have the appointment from that day, that time. I show up at the same day they gave me and the same time and monitor them until I get them again.
Okay.
I ask the kids, what time is good for me to get your dad again? The kids will say everything.
So how many doors would you say on average do you have to knock to get a presentation, and how many total door knocks to get a sale?
As every day is different, but let's say once again, if I only have one lead that day and I go with the lead first, try to find a person. If nobody's there, I do not leave the note because I'm going to come back later on, almost at sunset. Meanwhile, I'm going to do door knocking the whole neighborhood area if it's good. And nobody opens the door. I've broken record myself knocking over 500 in one day because people wouldn't open
Mhm.
or just conversate with me. So I'm going real fast. How do I know it was that number? Because you know how the insert has that little serial number? So because of that, you know how many inserts you let go. Because if
Yeah.
nobody's there, I do leave the insert at the door because they do fill it out, send a link, and link can send it to you.
Yeah.
At least after 50 of them I leave at the door, they will send at least one back.
So you get a lead back every 50 that you leave.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay. 500 doors is the record of no sales. What would you say is average, though? Do you think if you go to 100 doors, how many presentations will you get off 100 doors just on average?
Of course, it would vary, but I would say 5 presentations.
Like 5 presentations? And you
Sometimes
think,
one sale from that.
okay, okay. When you really break it down, if people aren't opening the door, it doesn't, what does it take? 30 seconds, a minute per door. It's, you know what I mean? Like literally 60 doors you could probably hit in
Exactly.
hour and a half or something at most, I would guess.
Yeah, you don't think about that unless there's stairs. So I try to
Yeah.
avoid the apartments.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember back in the day I trained an agent and we ordered an area in San Francisco as where near where the agent worked. And
Side.
yeah, I learned the hard way, man. We ended up parking and I was walking, I charged my GPS up and I'm walking up and down the hills and all the apartments and stuff. And it was I was sore for about a week after that day.
But it's health, right?
Yeah.
You get the exercise. Two in
100%,
one.
100%. We sold policies. You know what I mean? Most agents would have looked at, oh, there's no parking or parking to park in an area it's expensive. You got to pay every place you go. And it's like, hey, we've got these leads that are all close enough that we can walk to them. Let's get out. We'll talk to everybody. And I think we sold 2 or 3 policies that day,
Nice.
just being willing to do it. So you mix in your leads with door knocking. What's a typical week? Like, I mean, how many leads are you generally taking? And then how many doors would you say that you're probably knocking on a weekly basis?
I'm average per month, no more than 20 leads a month.
Okay.
So if you look at my production, you can see a lot of it is from cold door knocking.
Yeah.
So let's say yesterday I did about 200, I would say, doors. I did get a couple of appointments, one presentation only. And then I had another appointment. It was a no show. I'm just going to go back again next Wednesday, the same time they gave me yesterday.
Okay.
And I don't get discouraged. I know I'm not selling something that's fun. It's death. Who wants to think about that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But what motivates me is that I know no matter what happens to the economy, this business is recession proof.
100%. 100%.
And no matter what, every single disability person or that's getting SSI or disability, no matter what happens, they're still going to get their paycheck.
Yeah.
And those are the people who are thinking about that. They're almost at the end of their lifespan.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
thinking about that, not the 20-year-old guys.
And that was the thing that made me make the switch was talking with JR and him saying, hey, we've consistently had double digit growth for 20 years, right? It doesn't matter what's going on. You know, I mean, as long as you work,
Yeah.
your income will be consistent, the production will be consistent. And that's the great thing about final expense.
And that pay through helps you too.
And that monthly, that mailbox money.
Our pay throughs, we know most of us have pay throughs that it's bigger than the paychecks of people who work 50, 60 hours and they still have a degree.
Yeah.
So not that we're being cocky, but we feel good. We feel blessed.
I think it was Zig Ziglar or somebody. They said that if you were to do a year of door knocking, that it's equivalent to a 4-year college degree. You'll learn just as much in that year of
Yes.
door knocking than you would in 4 years of college.
Yes. You tell me, yeah. You meet
So
great people here too.
100%, man. And I wanted to go back a little bit, making the transition, getting into the business, and then coming and going. What would be some advice you would give to new agents that are starting out? Because we both know how hard, like you said, this first year of this business can be difficult, especially depending on the agent, whatever experience that they have or that they're bringing into it. What would be some advice or some tips that you would give the new people that are coming on board or that just started in the industry that are maybe struggling?
Yeah, there's different type of agents joining in. Some are just fresh to this business and they have no other job. And they can get distracted by how they apply different places and maybe the first week was bad for them and they get all these offers from other places that they talk so much and offer so much money. Those are the worst. Lincoln doesn't say much. They'll just show you, but you need to be in the field, in the theater to see the movie. You just can't go by the trails of somebody else's. You can create your own movie here. So if you treat this like a full time, you'll get a full time check and a real good one. You treat it like a part time, it's not going to happen. It's hard. Maybe one out of a million will. I don't know who.
Yeah.
Or if they're afraid to leave their $50, $60 per hour paycheck, don't be afraid. You can do that here. Even one time, I remember telling my son when he was still in college, and I told him, "Hey, so you're gonna graduate, right? And you're gonna have a degree. You need to be an entrepreneur to survive because, like me, I'm gonna give you my expenses. Let's say, for example, somebody offers you $60 an hour. Do the multiplication, do the math. He did it, and he opened his eyes. He's just a kid, right? He's 19, 20, whatever, and he opened his eyes. He's like, whoa, this is a lot of money, right? Okay, these are my expenses. At this, the mortgage, et cetera, et cetera. And you're already overdraft or upside down. I said, exactly. So having a degree, 50, $60 an hour, I do more than that. But look what I do. I'm 100% on commission. I'm not afraid. I'm a go getter. So whoever's out there afraid of leaving that paycheck, that biweekly or weekly check, don't be afraid. There's more money here if we put into it. Just like our manager says, Jorge say something that I like. This is your own business. You don't open it, you don't make money. You open it immediately, customers are going to start coming in. So we are our own business, like little mini mart, whatever it's going to be. You
Mhm.
go out there, your business is open. You don't go out there, your business is open. Or if you're out there, you're on the phone still applying for the job because you had a bad week, you get discouraged. It's not going to happen. We all quit here, but don't quit literally. We
Yeah.
do start thinking, should I go back to this? But then I remember that I've wandered around for so many years in so many companies. I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving.
So you mentioned hourly rate. I love that. I love that you break it down like that. Do you know what your current or roughly what your currently hourly rate for time when you're out there working?
I average by the month, as we all do, because it's hard to go by the day or by the week. But let's say somebody tells me I make $70 an hour, I probably make 80 to 85 an hour if I want to put it that way.
How much?
80 to 85 an hour
80 to 85 an hour. So for the
on a
time you're
full-time
working,
job.
yeah, and
Because
it's
pay through helps. Pay through
yeah,
helps.
100%. And would you explain for someone that doesn't know what pay through is?
Pay through can be built two different ways by renewals, right?
Mhm.
Also, when you do sell a big policy or a big monthly premium, Lincoln will manage your finances by not letting you get hit hard by a chargeback. So when you get an advance, you don't get nothing bigger than some 700, some 800. Everybody's different bracket, right? But let's say you get 800, yet that household you made 2,000. So they break down the rest, the 1,200, let's say, into 12 months, and then that goes into your pay through. So if you add all that you went through the full month, and then the renewals that start kicking in because you've been in a business for a year, that pay through will start growing.
100%. And the pay through that mailbox money, it definitely changes things, right?
You
Tell my
can
wife,
actually take a month of vacation and say, I won't work this month because I'm still going to get paid. Not that we want to do that every month. No, not at all. But I'm just saying, right? It can
yeah.
happen.
And I've seen agents that have gotten sick, had a health issue, or maybe something
Right.
with a spouse, and they didn't put any production into that month, but they're still getting paid a bigger check than most people that would put in those 40, 50-hour weeks just from that.
Exactly.
And that's awesome to see that.
Yeah, some people have health issues, little light surgeries, whatever. You can be out in the field for some reason. You don't have to go to the disability office or SSI. No, it's going to come in.
What are some things that you do to stay positive and keep moving forward?
It depends what the discouragement is, but when I have been discouraged because of no sales, let's say, that's what mostly happens to everybody. Sometimes you have rude customers. You think you're going to have a great day with 10 appointments, all these leads, and they give you the smiles and no show. I already got something else, whatever it is, and you're super discouraged. I remember that I've been out there and came back like a boomerang. I don't want to look like a fool again. God saved me twice with Lincoln, but that doesn't mean he's gonna maybe keep going at it and spoil me that much. But I always think to myself, I don't care how much I worked today, how much gas I spent, whatever it was, dog peed on me, whatever. I think about the pay through. Like no matter what, I have a check coming in. I look at the construction people up there in the sun, the roofers, and like, I'm making more money than them, and I'm whining. I'm not a crybaby. I gotta keep going. Look at this. I'm a mobile office. I just don't wear a tie because it's different, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like a professional out there. I'm just outdoors, and I don't have the expense of having to pay for an office. Like some people, like I've worked with agency owners that own big companies. I don't know if I should name them, but some that even do your auto insurance, if you know what I'm saying, those the red, white, or the blue, white ones, those big companies.
Yeah.
They go through a lot of stress.
Yeah.
They get pressured. If you don't sell this amount, your contract's gone. They need to pay for employees, bills, the office. We don't.
Yeah.
Our home is our office,
Mhm.
and we're out there meeting people. We're getting free stuffs, even free pets sometimes. So I think about those positive things, how many people told me, come on in. I was just about to call. I know who you are. Lincoln is famous. And I think about that. You know what? I'm going to run into that person tomorrow, later on today. And just motivates me. Maybe that doesn't happen, but something different. And I'm like, stupid of me trying to quit. So I'm not a quitter. I need to keep going. This is not for losers. So if I leave, I'm a loser because this is not for everybody. We have to admit it. This business is great. It's great money, but it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
So
And just hearing like how you view the business, right? You don't just view this as a job, you view it as a business. I think when people can shift that mindset of literally, like, again, if you were to open a franchise, you got to put in a ton of hours, a ton of time. A lot of times, even people working a job will work weekends and overtime, and then it's they get self-employed, and then it's easy street, or they have a big week or a big month, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna take a bunch of time off. In any other business, you wouldn't do that. And so here, I think people to shift that mindset, especially that first year, you really have to be focused and run this like it is any other business. Put in that consistency, that time, be willing to do whatever it takes, that working nights, working weekends. And again, it gets easier with the experience, with the pay through.
your own efforts gets you paid. But when you work for somebody else, your efforts are making somebody else rich.
Yeah.
And I
And
just sold one of a small franchise I had that I got some of the savings that I created with Lincoln. I sold it. There's too many charges, too many permits, licenses, too many things you need to get, certificates. It's not like it used to. It's not
yeah.
worth it anymore. So I'm having fun here. It's almost for free to have a business here.
Yeah. Even like with the leads that they provide, I always tell people Lincoln's not charging us they finance those leads, and it's like having a free credit card, a 0% interest credit card.
Exactly.
Take advantage of it. Let your manager help you manage your balances and just focus on the sales process and focus on being consistent with your effort and communicating. You and your manager talk quite a bit.
Yeah, even if we try third party company, that's not Lincoln. I mean, they suck. They're bad. Those leads are bad. They seem cheap, but they're bad. They start off good, but then they just mess up. I even had a lead 2 weeks ago from Lincoln where, Lincoln has no control who touches the computer and put what there. So I
Yeah.
show up at the household. I asked for this one person, and that person didn't live there. But hey, come on in. This is interesting. And I sold it. It wasn't even the lead from that person. Weird.
I love it. And that's something that we've been doing web leads. I would guess somewhere between 15 to 20% of them, no matter what, whether if you ran the ads yourself, whoever, you're going to get bad information, right?
Yeah.
Because anybody can type out anything online versus like with direct mail, at least we know someone filled it out. It might not be
Yeah.
that person, but someone from that house filled it out and mailed it in. But it's just, again, not letting those little things of whenever the information is incorrect or you get a lead, because if you were paying for the marketing on your own, you're going to get the same thing. So I guess maybe having the right expectations and then not letting those little things affect you in a negative way to where you're carrying that.
Yeah. Yeah. The more we complain, the worse it gets for your own because that's what you're feeding yourself. I've complained before. Of course, we all have. We all have called Ariel like, what the heck is going on? And poor Ariel's growing all that gray hair. But then you think about it, the client just playing around. And what can we do?
Yeah, 100%. And that's one time I was talking to Jorge and I was asking him, because again, to me, it's cold door knocking. A lot of agents aren't willing to do it. You talk to Jack Lennon that started Lincoln, he would tell me, I learned, I think it was my second or third month. He's like, why is production down? And I was like, I've got a bunch of less leads. And he's that thing connected to your wrist. That is a lead.
Yeah.
He's go out and knock some doors.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about the leads too, is they're going to put you in the right areas of the same demographic. Let's say we're getting a 1% return on our direct mail. That means that if one sent it in, 99 other people in that area didn't return that mailer. It doesn't mean that they didn't get it.
That's right. Yeah, I carry the mailer with me. I don't know if the other agents have it. How do you say this? You seal it
Laminated?
with plastic? What do you call that?
You laminated it?
Yeah, laminated. So I carry with me, and hey, why didn't you return this? Or did you get this in the mail? So I also show up with that, also with the insert when I see that they're interacting with me. I use that. I use the mailer, and they're like, yeah, but I never filled it out. I don't have the time, or the kid threw it away, or whatever. Oh, you saw the commercial. Why didn't you call? And
Yeah.
people are like, they just give you different reactions. You just have to keep going and going. And sometimes the lead does make you discover new areas that you didn't know existed. Whoa, I didn't know this was here. And I call them Disneyland, right?
Yeah.
Because I see the magic there. Like, let's do some door knocking. And also the way I door knock, it's not just a regular, I don't touch the ring either. You know that ring
Oh
bell?
yeah.
That's like talking on the phone.
Yeah.
And then
So
if they're at work, they're gonna be mad.
yeah. Oh, so you won't any of the Ring doorbell?
No,
You just
I
not.
do my knocking. So my knocking is also has a specific knocking. And I learned this from another agent. So when you team up, you learn a lot.
Yeah.
So my door knocking is just like that. I want to sound like a, I don't want to mention who door knocking, but anyways, I have special door knocking. Like I have a rhythm. Like people wonder who's at the door, so they'll come to the door or to the window.
Really? You even have the same rhythm, same pattern every time you knock?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
There's a lot of things we need to learn.
Do you stand close or do you step away once you knock?
I step away so they don't feel harassed, and I'm
Okay.
able to see the windows and wave at them and catch them. Hey, I saw you. I know you're home. I
Okay.
wave.
Okay. So you wave too. Do you ever turn your back, or are you generally always facing the door?
Sometimes I do go sideways to make them feel that I'm not urged to run into the door. There's so much crime out there and crazy people. So I'm
Yeah.
just relaxed, looking up at the birds, looking around on purpose. Like
Yeah.
I'm relaxed. I'm not there at the door just ready just to attack them. So
Okay.
I look very relaxed when they open the door. And that's when I say, hey, good afternoon. I'm Carlos with Funeral Advantage. I'm here giving out information. And that's when I give out the insert and I still take a step back so they feel comfortable.
You're not making them nervous. How many people would you say answer the door on, let's say, 100 door knocks?
20 to 30.
20 to 30. Okay.
Yeah.
Of that, you think on average you get about five of those that you might sit with?
Yeah, 5 to 10 sometimes.
5 to 10?
Also, at 4 o'clock, I remember another agent I went with, he called them the golden hours. People come up with these names. After 4, that's when you start people having opening the door. Between 2 and 2:30, everybody's out to get the kids.
Yeah.
So I take my little break during that time and
Okay.
come back because I don't stop. I have
Okay.
my food in the car. I don't waste time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So during that time, what do you do during that time? You just take like a break during 2 to 2:30?
Yeah, take a little bathroom break,
Eat your
hydrate myself, make some phone calls. Make some
Okay.
phone calls. Maybe run an errand. Maybe sometimes because once you go to the store, you don't want to get out. So try to
Yeah.
make the emergency errands only. The little
Okay.
phone calls you always have to make for your own personal life too. But I call the leads that for some reason they moved and I only have the phone number. Something like that.
If you do utilize the phone for those, what are you typically saying?
If I've never been able to get in contact with them, same thing. Hey, Mister, I don't ask for them. I just go straight for the name. Hey, Adam, good afternoon. This is Carlos. So like that, they can deny it. If they're listening or they say that means that's you. Because if
Yeah.
I ask for you, you're gonna say he's not home or wrong number, right?
Yeah.
So I just say, hey, Adam, good afternoon. This is Carlos with Funeral Advantage. The reason I'm calling, do you remember sending back this postcard? Do you remember filling out information on Facebook regarding an insurance plan that covers all your funeral expenses? And I stay quiet and then I wait to see what they say. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to be in your area all this week. When do you have 10 minutes? I can just deliver the information. My job is just to give you information and then you decide what you're going to do with that information and I'll be on my way. Not
That's
make it seem like it's a sales thing.
With Lincoln, how many trips have you qualified for in the time that you've been here?
All of them. I've lost a few of my own, even being at the airport for silly reasons. But I've qualified for all of them.
That's
Yeah.
phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
Because I've been with you back when I came back the second time, 5 years, and the tag you gave me in Italy, it was
Yeah.
great actually. It says 5 trips, so
That's awesome. How do you like Italy?
the food was great.
Yeah.
You can eat. You thinking if I eat pizza, I'm gonna feel bloated. Like I don't really eat like that. I can't anymore. I'm not young like I used to. You eat a slice of pizza here, you eat one, and that's it. You're done for the whole day. Out there, I would eating three. I was
Yeah.
hungry 4 hours later. I don't know what is it about the food out there.
Yeah, I know. I was nervous because we ate so much pasta and pizza, and it was like I came back and I didn't gain any weight. I don't know. I was surprised that I was
Yeah,
like, "Should I
right.
put on at least 5 pounds?"
Yeah, I lost 7 pounds because we were walking
Yeah,
walking for
yeah,
hours. We didn't even notice till the
yeah,
nighttime. Oh, my feet hurt. But the food out there, it's great. It's healthy. The water, Did you drink water from the fountains out there in public?
Huh? No, I didn't. I didn't. The water's
I
good
tried
too.
it. Good. It's all great. Nothing happened to my stomach. It was amazing. I don't know. There's a lot to say. We can speak for 5 hours about that trip. It was amazing. It motivates you, and you're like, you know what? It's worth getting all those no's, all those rejections to be here. I'll keep doing it again for next year.
100%. Cayman Islands next trip. And
Yeah, ready for that.
have you ever been to Cayman Islands or
Nope.
Yellowstone?
Nope. My first time.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So excited for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe before we wrap up, is there anything else that you want to touch base on or anything that you'd like to discuss?
I've heard this through a lot of the agents, even the ones you haven't interviewed yet, that every single agent, no matter how many complaints we have on a weekly basis, because of business, no business is easy. And the one that's easy is not worth it, I would say. We never quit because it's worth being here. And I think all of us have been struggling economically. Whoever's been here, like you struggle,
Mhm.
I've struggled. And here in Lincoln, if I'm not struggling anymore and I went to the next level financially, because this is what we're here for the money, right? Financially, I'm up here and I'm also a better person. And I've learned through so much speaking to all these people. I'm getting two benefits out of being in Lincoln. Give it a try. Not a month, not two. Those new agents, give it a year and you'll never leave again. You'll get addicted to this, not only because of the money, but because of the experience, how you make the money.
I've worked at other places to where I didn't feel good about the sales that I was making. And I won't say what industries or companies, but here actually taking people and being able to put them in a better place to be actually help people out. And it feels good, right? The money's fantastic, but also knowing that you're going out there with, for the right reasons to help people feels good knowing you're leaving these people in a better place than where you found them.
We are heroes avoiding the GoFundMe.
We all see the car washes and everything else out there.
They bother people, annoy people asking for money. And part of my presentation, I tell my people or the client, if somebody comes and tells you, hey, my loved one just passed away, and you give them $500, maybe even 1,000, to you, that's a lot of money. That's maybe your savings for 10 years. I don't know. And even though you gave them $1,000, you're not helping them, not even 90%. There's more to that bill or that debt. So don't do that to your family. That's part of my sales pitch too, because it's true. Like you said, car wash, how much money can they collect there?
Yeah.
They need to hit 30 grand. It's going to be
Yeah.
hard.
Those plots in Southern California are expensive down there, and that the ground is definitely not cheap.
But you know what? Now that you're saying that Funeral Consumers Garden Society, because we've mentioned Lincoln so much, the Funeral Consumers Garden Society does miracles. Unfortunately, I've had to use it for my parents. You lose your mind and you forget that you have Funeral Consumers Garden Society. When you call the places that Funeral Consumers Garden Society told you to, and they give you codes for the Facebook market to get plots and so forth, you can save 60 to 70%. If you call on your own, hey, I lost my loved one, they'll say the plots for 20, 25,000. I got my plot because of the Funeral Consumers Garden Society, 8 grand for two, the double, including opening and closing, the tombstone, the engraving. This is a true story. Funeral Consumers Garden Society, who else has them?
Yeah, no way.
So this is a great business. You don't have to sell your client a $50,000, $60,000 policy to get that done. No, I did my dad for 13.
You share that with your clients that you're out there meeting.
When let's say the person would be able open to it, yeah. And
Yeah,
because it's very fresh too. It just happened last year. So at the beginning I wasn't using it because I didn't want to break down and it was
yeah,
touchy.
yeah,
Or sometimes people were already sensitive. So me saying that was gonna make it worse. Because some people do cry at the dining table.
yeah.
They just went through it and it's hard to lose a loved one. So this business is like you said, you feel good when you go home, go to sleep, and like I helped one family, I helped 5 families. It's not like I made money. I made money using people. They're using us, and we just get paid for it. That's it.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal, man. And sorry for your loss. I know that's still
Yeah,
fresh.
thank you, thank you.
I really appreciate you sharing all your knowledge. I'm sure it's definitely going to inspire some agents. 75% conversion, factoring in you're out there door knocking, you're out there doing the extra things that most agents aren't willing to do. And it shows in the numbers, shows in the paychecks. And man, just keep doing what you're doing. Appreciate you. Appreciate your time. And
No, thank you.
anything that you want to close with at all?
I just want to thank you too, because I know you've been on the phone available for me 6 in the morning, when the night before, maybe you don't remember, but I do. 12 midnight, you're still on the phone with me, and I appreciate that. And I'm sure you don't need to do that. You're already very set up, and you still take the effort to help us, and I appreciate that. That
Hey,
also counts.
I
When I'm
appreciate
out
you,
there getting
brother.
discouraged, you know what? If Adam put his effort into this when he didn't need to, he could be out on vacations, and he's helping me at 11, 12 midnight. Next day in the morning at 6, he's texting me. If it was done, I take that in consideration, that I can do the effort to use that lead builder, right?
Yeah, yeah. So again, thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I look forward to working with you many more years and
Yes.
to your continued success. Congrats on the new home.
Thank you.
All right, brother. Hey, you have a fantastic day.
All right. Thank you too, Adam.